What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another vlog. So today we're actually going to be knocking out the front bumper on the RC350 Escort that we've been working on. In the last two episodes, you guys were able to see me go ahead and finish off the hood as well the fenders. A lot of you guys were actually asking me to go ahead and go over the front bumper. My plan was to go over the quarter panels with you guys. I had a couple asking, but with me going over the front bumper, this is actually going to add more time to me wrapping it, maybe about 2 more hours with vlogging and explaining it to you guys. So I'll go ahead and hold off on the quarter panels. I already went ahead and finished those. I'll do an episode on the quarter panels on how to wrap them and how to get in between the crevices of the fenders and the quarter panels where they actually meet. This bumper specifically is actually super aggressive, just the way the fog lights and the headlights go. You guys can see the curvature on the bumper, but this is actually going to be super complicated, so I thought it'd be a best idea to go ahead and go over the bumper versus the quarter panels. A lot more people have been asking how to wrap bumpers and pretty much how to get the inlays, where to put inlays, etc. So I'll knock out one side by myself, and then from there I'll go ahead and set you guys up, and I'll walk you guys through the other side. I'm going to go and get this one prepped and ready, and let's knock this one out. All right guys, so I just finished up the inlays on the driver's side of the bumper. So you guys can see everything looks really good, and then I was able to get this all done in one piece. There is a paint drip mark right here, so it does look like an adhesive line, but it is paint drip. So this is basically what you do want to do. You aren't able to get it in one piece. Now, the #1 error that a lot of people will end up doing is they'll measure it from the widest part, which would maybe be about 3 inches from right here. And now that would be the incorrect way to go ahead and do this, because that 3-inch strip isn't going to get all of this done in one shot, including up here. So what I like to do is I'll go ahead and measure from here all the way up to here, so maybe about 8 inches or so, and that'll go ahead and allow us to go ahead and feed this in with no stretch at all, which is what we want, so this way this doesn't bubble up. And then from here we'll attack this first, work our way all the way over here, make a slice, and then we'll go ahead and feed this up. You'll see the way that I do it on that side, but the driver's side of the car is finished. So this side's done, and then I did put an inlay right here where the fog light area goes. And then basically what we're gonna do with here when the main piece is on, we'll go ahead and press it into where we can see this line. We'll slice it, and then all of this would be stretched in. All right guys, so I already went ahead and finished up the driver's side of the bumper. I just wanted to make sure that all of my inlays are ready to go, and just to make sure that I didn't have to make an inlay down here. But everything happened to work out absolutely great. Looks freaking amazing, you guys can see. So now that this side's done, I'm going to go ahead and set you guys up on tripod. I'll go ahead and get the other side ready to go, and let's knock this one out. So on this particular bumper, I'm going to be using a knifeless design line. Basically the difference between a straight edge knifeless tape as well a design line, I'm able to actually go ahead and curve this with no problem. And as you can see, I went ahead and started it right here. Reason being is because I'm actually going to go ahead and put another piece of knifeless tape right here. I'm able to get it done in one piece. The only thing is that for some reason, design line likes to like lift up on a very aggressive turn, so I'm just going to go ahead and make my life easy and do it in 2 separate pieces. And you want to make sure you clean it really good, especially in between the edges. Alright, so now that our inlay is done, we're going to go ahead and cut our piece out. On this specific inlay, you want to make sure you have maybe about 10 inches or so of vinyl to play with. Reason being is because we're actually going to go ahead and attack it from the most aggressive part, which is going to be the middle first. And then from here, we'll go ahead and be able to make a relief cut and feed all this in with no type of tension. And then that relief cut is going to allow us to go ahead and feed this in upwards with no type of tension as well. I have our piece, which is right here. And the way that I'm going to go ahead and lay this is at an angle. So I'll be laying it at right here in the center, so meaning that my vinyl is going to go ahead and come out this way. But since I went ahead and cut such a big amount, I'm able to go ahead and cover this with no type of tension, stretching, or pulling, and you'll see exactly what I mean right now. So now you guys can see I laid it at the angle and not the way it goes. So now from here, I'm going to go ahead and feed everything in. You guys can see no type of tension, that's right here. Now that I went ahead and locked this in, I'm going to go ahead and grab my squeegee. And the next part to do is go ahead and make a relief cut. So I know that if I can lift this up, I know that I need to go ahead and have room. And you always want to make sure that you cut at the angle of the direction that you're trying to lay. So meaning that the bumper goes this way, I'm gonna wanna cut out the same exact way and just make sure that I have enough room. So. Remember, as I said, you don't wanna work with any type of tension because later down the road, this will bubble up. Now we need to go ahead and cut off what we don't need. And you guys can see these wrinkles. I don't wanna go ahead and pull them up. I wanna pull them at the angle and they'll go ahead and fall the way that I need them. Watch. You see? Exactly just like that. I'll heat this up right here. I'll go ahead and make 2 relief cuts and it'll go ahead and stay in place. But I wanna get rid of this extra material that we don't need. Now from here we have to go ahead and stretch that in slightly, but I know that the fog light area goes ahead and covers maybe about a 1/2 inch or so, so I know that I'm clear. Alright guys, so I just finished up with the inlay. You guys can see the paint drip right here that I was actually talking about. Unfortunately, that is a bummer. Cool. So now that that's done, I can't even talk. Now that that's finished, we're going to go ahead and do the inlay that's inside here. So I'll turn the bumper around, get the ring light on it, and let's get this one done. Also, you guys, the color that I'm using is satin dark gray, and it is directional. So the way that I lay the whole car is 3M up. What I mean by directional is if I went ahead and changed it, and let's just say I went ahead and wrapped it with 3M to the side, it would actually change the color of the whole car. So you just always want to make sure that you are wrapping in the color of the direction, and that is if the color is directional. Alright guys, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is glass it. So first things first, we're going to go and grab our torch. That's what I work with, preferably. And we're going to go ahead and give it slight heat. Very good lay. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same to the top. So now that we have a majority of the bumper glass, we want to go ahead and start with the body line. So that means we're going to go ahead and start with this line right here. Have a crease. And we're just going to go ahead and mark it all the way down. We'll come over and again all the way across. And we don't have to worry about an adhesive line right here because it's not too aggressive. So now that we have that locked in, let me grab my glove. Now from here we can go ahead and start working our air all the way down. And we'll go ahead and leave the top alone for right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and follow this body line that comes right here. So now that I've went ahead and locked this in, I can go ahead and work this all out. And now I know everything from this body line on down to this body line is all done. So now this is going to be our most difficult part because this is where we have to actually go ahead and stretch the vinyl in, and we only have our inlay right here. So We're going to go ahead and work our air down as much as we can without getting an adhesive line. And then from here, I'm just going to go ahead and lock it in right here at the edge. So since we added a stretch to it, we're actually able to go ahead and pick this up, heat it, and as soon as we heat it, this vinyl is going to go ahead and shrink onto the bumper. Because what I want to do is I want to get the vinyl as close as possible to inside of here without getting an adhesive line or any type of tension. So watch, I'll go ahead and lift it up, just like that. And if you guys notice, I'm like pushing it in. So as soon as I push this in and I heat it, it's going to go ahead and shrink back where it wants to go. Watch. See how all that shrunk? So now we can go ahead and relax this. So now I know everything from right here is going to be tension as soon as I push it in. All that will have to be stretched in. So that's going to be my cutoff line right there. Now from here, I'm going to go ahead and press it down to where I can see the line of where my inlay is. And then from right here, I'm going to be trimming. And I want to act quick because I don't want to get an adhesive line right here. So when you trim, you always want to make sure you have a fresh blade. And you're going to trim very lightly right on that line. Alright, so now that I have that done, push that out. I'm going to go ahead and reach underneath. I'm going to go ahead and pull it. And now from here, I'm going to add slightly. And you want to get the most aggressive part done in one shot. Just like that. Now I know from here, there's nowhere else that's going to give me an adhesive line. So I can go ahead and just work my air out. And you want to make sure everything's done evenly. You don't want to have to go back to get a bubble or something like that. That's how adhesive lines again are caused. And just like that, we've done that without getting an adhesive line right here. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up really quickly. Everything from down here is just going to heat it up, fold it underneath and then trim it, and then I'll go ahead and walk you guys through the top. Alright guys, so now that I have worked everything from this body line on down, we're able to go ahead and work everything up top. But when we work the top, we want to act somewhat quick just because it's very, very easy to go ahead and get adhesive lines anywhere up here just because there's quite a bit of stretch on here. Where we're going to be adding a stretch on here. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to be taking up our vinyl all the way up to our first inlay, and then we'll be cutting it, and then from there we'll go ahead and work everything else. So let's go ahead and start. So now our inlay starts from here. I can already see our KNIFELESS tape. And you can see everything already kind of fell in right here, and that's because of that stretch. Now that we have this trimmed, you guys see a majority of this actually want to go ahead and fall in. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to go ahead and I'll press all this in just so that we don't get no dirt. And I'll go ahead and worry about the KNIFELESS later. So next step is to go ahead and lock in the rest of where the spotlight area goes. So we'll lock this in. And while I'm pressing this down, I'm actually pulling the vinyl down as well, just so that this way we can keep no wrinkles. And that's where that ends. So that's our point right there. Now the next thing to do is to go ahead and push the rest of this vinyl in, and we'll be able to go ahead and push all of this in. Let me grab my torch. And we're adding heat, and we have to do this quickly. So now everything from right here, we're able to slice out, and that's going to be our relief cut. And just like that, we went ahead and squeegeed the whole bumper. So now the only thing that we have left to do is to pull our KNIFELESS tape and go ahead and trim everything. Of course, we do have to post heat with the heat gun, and then from there, this bumper is actually done. Alright guys, so the front bumper to the Lexus is fully finished. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys in detail everything on the bumper. You guys can see the paint drip marks that are right here. And then you guys obviously see the inlay. And then down here, this was our most aggressive stretch. So you guys can see no adhesive lines, nothing like that. Corners looking really good. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for this vlog. I truly hope that you guys have enjoyed the more in-depth videos that I've been covering with you guys. So as far as the front end of the bumper, we do have a full chrome delete left to do, and I'll go ahead and do that in the next video as we'll show you guys the completed car. But as far as that, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope you guys have a safe weekend. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.